Yeah, I know mine.
Can I see your learning eyes? Click on your listening ears. Click. Put your thinking caps on. Sit up straight. Are you ready to learn?
Yeah.
Good. Well, the last couple days in math, what have we been talking about? Who remembers? Parker? What are some things that we've learned about in math?
Counting up. Counting from 10.
Counting?
From 10.
From 10, so counting by tens. 10, 20, 30. Yes, that's one thing. What did we specifically learn about? I'll give you a clue. Olympia?
Short and long.
Short and long. Well, today we're going to start working on something different. And right here I have a bunch of buttons. Let's look and see how different they are.
Oh my god. Oh my gosh. One looks like that. That's awesome.
Everyone stay in their seats.
Oh my gosh. Some looks like jewelry.
So I have this whole big bin of
Some
buttons.
look like gold.
Wait, please be quiet. There's so many different kinds of buttons in here. What are some ways that I could sort them? What does it mean to sort? Haley.
It's like sorting them by colors.
So you could sort these buttons by colors. So I could take out all the pinks and put all the different pink buttons in a pile. What else could I do to sort these buttons? Moosey.
Count them. And like a 9.
I could count the buttons, but that wouldn't really help me sort them. What about, could I count? See how there's holes in these buttons?
Yeah.
What if I sorted them by counting how many holes they had? So how many holes does this button have?
4.
4. And how many holes does this button have?
2.
2. So what if I made 2 different piles? One pile that had 4 holes and one pile that had 2 holes. That would be a way to sort them. What else could we do? Austin.
Sort them by the shape.
By the shape, that's very good. So we have, what shape is this?
Circle.
A circle. And what shape is this?
A heart.
A heart. And let's see what else. What about this shape right here? A square. So I could sort my buttons by shapes. And if I had a circle, square, and heart, would I be putting, let's see, all the circle buttons in the square pile?
No.
No, what pile would I put them in?
Circle.
The circle pile. Very good. And we're going to learn another word, boys and girls, that has to do with sorting. And that word is called an attribute. Does anyone think they have an idea what attribute might mean? If we're sorting the buttons? Rachel, do you have an idea? An attribute is a specific detail that the button has. So like we said, this button has how many holes in it?
4.
4 holes. So the attribute of this button would be that it has 4 holes. So then we would look for all the other buttons that had that same attribute. So what attribute would we be looking for? Parker.
4 holes.
4 holes. So we would want to find all the different buttons that had 4 holes. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So before we keep going, we are going to read a book called Buttons, Buttons. We have 1 button, 2 buttons, red buttons, blue buttons. Let's count how many blue buttons are on the page. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And what is the attribute? What is an attribute of these buttons right here? What do all these buttons have in common? Haley.
Like some are stars and some are circles.
Some are stars and some are circles, but what is the same about these buttons? Olympia, stay in your spot, please.
That's
What's the same with these buttons? Nick. What do all of these buttons have in common?
That they are different shapes and they're different.
They're different, but having something in common means the same. So if they have different shapes, that would not be the same. What's the same with all of these buttons? Jackson.
That they all have holes.
They don't all have holes because this button doesn't have a hole, and neither does this one. But there's something about all of these buttons that's the same. Evan.
Like the stars. The stars have golden stars on them.
There's gold stars on these buttons, but what is the same? Look at the color of the buttons. Grace.
They're all blue.
They're all blue. So the specific attribute would be that these buttons are all the color blue. We have little buttons and big buttons, bear buttons and pig buttons. What would be the same about these buttons? Are these buttons circles and squares?
No.
No. What kind of buttons are these? Rachel.
They're all bears.
They're all bears. So
And
these
I-
buttons all share the same attribute that they're bears.
And it's a pattern.
It is a pattern. Very good,
Yeah.
Haley. Who can tell me what the pattern is in these buttons?
I know.
No shouting out answers, please. Jake, what's the pattern in these bear buttons?
Boy gold, boy gold.
Boy bear, girl bear. Boy bear, girl bear. Very nice,
And
Jake.
another pattern.
What's the other pattern, Olympia?
Naked dress. Naked dress.
Very good, Olympia. This bear he has a little bow tie on, so he's not naked, but he has a bow tie dress. Bow tie dress.
Actually both.